Hi everybody. So today we're looking at the masters for the Demon Knight key from the movie Demon Knight. So what you're seeing here is the acrylic masters of the main body. So this was actually sculpted by Steve Horch. So what you're seeing here, you can see little glimmers of red here, which is Bondo. This was all cut out of one big piece of acrylic. These pieces here were added on, but these are also all acrylic, as is this piece here. That is the piece that turns it into a sealed piece. This also has a working cap, and there was a reason for a working cap, and that is because it held the blood of Christ, which had healing powers and so on. And so we ended up having to make the vials that went inside of this, which was basically these pieces here, after we would vacuform one of each side and trim it down and drill the center of this out. We would stick these up inside through that hole all the way up to the top here. So we've made our vacuform vials, or a vacuform vial such as that, but only of course from here to there. And that piece would be stuck up inside of here through this hole. We would bend with a torch. We would heat up the edge of that vacuform piece now and bend it over to the edges of the hole to help blend it in. All of the heroes of this piece were all cast in bronze so that it would hold up under all the shooting and throwing it around and everything else. We did make foam copies of this and rubber copies of this, but the heroes that were used most of the time in the film were the bronze copies. There were not that many of them made in bronze for the show. There was actually more rubbers and foam copies that were more prevalent in the show as far as how many there were. And these little Jewish stars here, these were all made out of sheet stock, and all of these individual little strips here. No two of them are alike in there. And that was basically, they were attached to all these individual points on one side. We didn't make any that had them on both sides of the piece. And yes, since it was bronze, it weighed a ton. This was also cast in bronze. And we actually did the old-fashioned, put a piece of brass rod there and peen it on both sides. We did end up having to take, and we tried a cork, to put a cork in here so that it would actually seal and hold the fluid inside of the vial. But they kept disintegrating because of the movement that this had. So we ended up having to take some black rubber stoppers, for chemical stoppers, and cut them down so that they were just in here and, just long enough to do the job without making it too obvious that they were black rubber ones. Because you really couldn't paint on that rubber if you were going to have it going up and down and closing into this. And the reason why they kind of needed to hold the fluid is because the actors were pulling it out of their jacket, out of their belt, or whatever, opening it up and actually drinking out of the vial, drinking the blood of Christ. Everything had to be able to be cleaned. This entire project for the show was a 2-week project, as it was making all these as masters and then taking them to a foundry and having them cast in bronze. And then after getting them back, having to go back and shave the seams down, blend everything in, grind out the inside if necessary, if the vial wasn't fitting in properly, and so on, and then patina them between the bottle and the inside of these pieces. We were putting in material so that it would encapsulate this and wouldn't jiggle around and everything else as they're using it. I don't remember what that material was right at this very moment, but once it was in, it was in. It was if I remember correctly, it was a combination of white glue that was thinned down, and I believe it's called rock putty or something like that. It came in a little red can. It's kind of like plaster, but it's really hard. But by using watered down glue, it gave it a little bit of flexibility and kept it from shattering and breaking every time they moved it around. I think it's called Mike's hard water putty, if I'm not mistaken. And it was hard and everything else when we put it in. And we put a little bit of gray acrylic paint in with the glue to make the color look more like maybe like a bit of pitch or something. But once we were done gluing in the bottles, everything was set. We would go back and then retouch up everything, age it down like real brass. If I remember correctly, we actually had a brush that we were hitting bits and pieces of it with an acid just to bring out some of the green colors. And then we found it was just, even if we sealed it, it still wanted to come off. So we ended up painting the green oxidation and everything on it. If you have any questions about this prop, please put them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. And if you feel so inclined, please become a patron. Thank you.